So, as mentioned, it is commonplace to see three movement combinations in older Yiquan, and usually it's all the same punch, and we've discussed that before, and also it's a problem to come back to another day. Today let's consider another related commonplace practice, namely placing the emphasis of power on the third punch, in which case the timing is something like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which we can say out loud as we punch with the emphasis on the 3. Lots of reasons have been given for doing this, most commonly that in each one should drill through and win the exchange in 3 moves, hence the last punch should be the knockout blow. However, as we'll discuss when we come to the push hands videos, this is not the real meaning of winning 3 moves, and as Yao Zongzong points out, we should not engage in schoolboy fantasies that we will win a fight in 3 movements or less. It's simply common sense that one should win a real fight as quickly as possible. It wouldn't need a special saying to remind us of this. And while we do see many third generation Yiquan teachers and their students using the emphasize the third punch method, there's really no true rationale for this other than it's far easier to do that than it is to emphasize any of the other punches in the combination. And in the development of each one, what is known as emergence, we should be very wary of these areas where the easiest route becomes the dominant orthodoxy. You have to become aware of those and you have to challenge to move on. To emphasize the third punch method, as with the 2-punch combination that we looked at before, allows the practitioner to simply not have to decide how to distribute speed and power. Moreover, emphasizing the final punch permits the performer to maintain the speed of the overall combination, as the final punch can be emphasized and the return to guard discounted as an extra movement outside of the combination. If we have a 3-punch combination and we don't think about pulling back the guard, we can pretend that that doesn't really matter, because the benefit is we can do the whole punch, the whole combination, maintain our speed, and imagine that the third punch is going to be enough to win the fight. We don't have to think about things like someone punching us back in the face. That's an externality, and it's very often fueled by this idiotic ideology that in each one you're not going to need any kind of defensive abilities. Looking at 2-punch combinations, we've already seen how hit and stop, a key element of each one, can lead us into thinking that it's fine to have emphasis on the final punch, maybe even to leave our hand out. It always looks cool, it looks very kung fu-y, but it's not good for real application. We've got to remember that hit and stop is just to allow us to think about where we would actually move next in the combination. It's always a building block that needs another building block or more to be attached to it to be functional. And we've also seen that curtailing or extending our use of open, close, rise and sink, even within the confines of Bao, because Bao can be big and Bao can be small, even within those confines, we can make decisions on whether to open bigger or to close smaller or vice versa. And this will allow us to emphasize different punches within the combination. For example, we can choose to do a 2-punch combination faster. We can curtail the movement for the cross because we want to pull it back. We could then change our rhythm to put more emphasis on the jab. So in this case it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. Watch again, more emphasis on the jab, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or we could change to put more emphasis on both, widen the whole posture out, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And this is all about making decisions, and that's also relative to your own fitness and what's happening in the task that you're doing. When you're very tired, it's very hard to throw those fast combinations, but usually you can find it in you to throw some bigger, slower, powerful combinations, emphasizing power. We can return to all of that momentarily. For now, let's move on to 3 punches, jab, cross, jab. And first of all, listen to the rhythm. Can you hear it? The rhythm is like 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. It was commonplace in an earlier stage of emergence within Yiquan for practitioners to perform combinations like this, with this partial relaxed back to guard in between each punch. And there are a few reasons for doing this. The most important, however, is that it creates more stored force for the next punch. That is, it curls the arm closer to the body so that there is more potential for dynamic structural expansion into the punch. By definition, this also adds volume to the punch, making it bigger and more powerful, but it also makes it slower, so the timing is still 1, 2, 3, with the emphasis on the third punch, but the tempo overall is slow and we include those ands, 1 and 2 and 3. And among the many problems with this is it can pull you right off your route to the big movement. Watch carefully. This is just caused by just the size of the movements. Watch my feet. See, it nearly pulls me right off my route. Let's compare with the more modern method, which is to use hit and stop to cut out the dead time of the relaxed back to guard, like this. This too is 1, 2, 3, with the emphasis on the third punch, but the overall tempo is much faster, and it doesn't drop the guard or give any kind of tell. So first of all, listen to the rhythm. You can hear the rhythm clearly. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. However, it does require a superior level of skill, a higher level of emergence, a deeper physical understanding of somatic timing. It also entails a more compounded use of Fa Li, giving faster overall movement, which in turn requires a much finer tuning of the overall structural configuration to maximise the transmission of power at the hit point. And remember that we seek improved efficiency to compensate for the loss of volume in big movements. While Yiquan students tend to worship the past and also their own teachers, the method of hit and stop is by no means a new innovation. It's a core principle of Wushu itself. Its use in the more modern next-gen, or we should really say post-generational Yiquan, is scientifically and demonstrably superior to the relaxed back to guard or interval method used in previous iterations of Yiquan emergence. People who can't do it will say not, but they would, wouldn't they? Similarly, while the innovation of emphasising the third punch was a radical step forward a few decades ago, it's old-fashioned now. In modern Yiquan, things have evolved, and we recognise the need for an intuitive ability to fluidly shift the emphasis of power within combinations to different points. For example, we could hit with the rhythm of 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, or even distribute power equally, focusing on speed alone. As, once again, Miyamoto Musashi points out, it's often unnecessary or even bad practice to use all of our power in a technique. A sword, for example, which is the example Musashi gives, might snap if you do this, but so might a leg, which I pointed out in the beginner series when I noted that it's by no means necessary or desirable to use all of our power in a round kick. While some people cling on to outdated methods, this is not only against Wang Xingjai's direct teaching, but the modern methods are scientifically and obviously superior. Nevertheless, without the innovations of our forebears, we would not be able to build what we have now.